So I'm going to push the envelope, as I know you'll be shocked by that. But I want to push the envelope a little more. So if this is really a war on religion, right? Because most
Mm,
wars, when you think about it, and there are obviously political and geographic reasons for war, and not all wars are religious in nature or base. But I've already reeled off a bunch of them, and there are others throughout history that if you go back, the Sudan War. I mean, there's so many wars that were caused by, driven by religion.
mm,
This feels like that to me. So if this is,
yeah.
so if I'm right, which remains to be seen, but if I'm right, and this is a war on religion or a religious war, doesn't it make so what we're really fighting is a holy war. We're
Mm.
fighting against the jihad, because that's what these guys feel like to me. They feel like jihadists.
It does feel that way. And when we see a rise in violence against Christians, a rise in prosecutions of people simply praying outside of termination
A
clinics.
rise in violence and anti-Semitism against the Jews, a
I
rise
mean,
against the Christians, the Catholic, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, doesn't matter.
absolutely. I mean, it really is being excused as okay, right? That whole punch a Nazi thing uh, takes on a whole new meaning when they get to define what a Nazi is. And they say a Nazi is anybody who disagrees with them.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
if I mean, the greatest, most powerful enemy of this, of the woke movement, is religious people, whether it's Christians, Jews, Muslims, anybody. Even I would even I don't know enough about other religions to speak about it, but they are all the enemy of this new state run religion, because all of these other religions say that there will be no God above our God. And so it is the natural enemy of the state for you to put something else above the power and sanctity and sovereignty of the state. You will be punished and you will be made an example of.
So I have to take objection with one thing, just one thing that you said, because this is really, to me, an attack on Judeo-Christian values. And
Mm,
I won't say it's not that the Muslims don't have the same values, they do, but they're not right now. The woke mob, the god of wokeism, is not focused on Islam. It's focused
which is
on
weird.
Christianity, and it's focused on Judaism. Let's call it what it is. Look, they will one day focus on Islam,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't think they've done that yet, right?
Well, it's another protected class, right? So Muslims in this country were considered, another oppressed
Minority,
class.
oppressed minority, sure,
Exactly. So they ended up
sure.
getting clustered in with LGBT stuff, with black stuff, even though these three groups really seemingly have all different priorities, needs, wants,
Right,
and cultures. Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they'll
Yeah, you're right.
look, as
You're right.
once they're done with the Jews and the Christians, or the Christians and the Jews, then
They're
they'll go
coming
after the
for them
Muslims.
next. Oh, you
Right,
better believe it.
right. So
Mhm.
so wake up, folks. This is a holy war. It's a jihad. If the state religion can deny a woman in Oregon, who's suing them, by the way, and she'll lose. My prediction is she will lose in
Mm.
state court. She will lose in federal court. This one will go up to the Supreme Court. In my opinion, it's just, I don't know if the woman will be alive by the time it gets there. They're already trying to take out Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court for some innocuous trips that he disclosed and took with one of his friends who happens to be a rich guy, right? Um, which is just amazing to me. But so they'll try anything to regain a majority on the court. This will
Yeah.
go up to the Supreme Court, in my opinion. But if the state can establish a religion that says, if you don't believe this, what the state believes, you cannot adopt a foster child. First of all, it's an infamia to me. It is an
Mm.
absolute um, violation of everything decent and human in the world. But it tells you where the power is. And this is a holy war. This is
Yeah.
a jihad. And if you view it through that prism of these people, then it makes more sense. It doesn't make it any easier to fight,
Yeah.
but it makes it easier to understand the enemy that's attacking us. And attacking us would be the Judeo-Christian values of God, of family, of those, those traditional values that they
Individual liberty,
clearly have.
sanctity.
Individual liberties, personal responsibility. Look at me, I'm a victim, right? I mean, none of that crap. So,
Yeah.
right. So that's what we're fighting against. When I read the article, it just, first of all, my heart goes out to the woman. Husband dies in a car crash, raising 4 kids as a single mom. I mean, I've seen the boss's job raising kids, my hat goes off to her. It's hard as can be.
Yeah.
Right. And then going back to last show, it doesn't take a village. It does take a family, though. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. It's really, it's incredible. And then she tries to open her home to a homeless foster child. And they said, no, because you don't believe the right way.
Yeah. We would rather leave them in a hotel or uncared for. I've talked about this on my show, Generally Irritable, before. When we were living in Los Angeles, it was something like 500,000 children in the state of California that were in the, I believe it was the state of California. It could have been LA County, but I want to make sure I'm not lying to our listeners. It was either LA County or California. 500,000 kids in the foster care system with no homes, living in hotel rooms with no supervision, no parental supervision. These are literally children being left to languish without care because the system would rather put roadblocks in the way to these kids getting adopted by loving, caring families. And clearly Oregon is no different.